Canada isn't all just maple syrup and poutine, although those things are awesome. Here are 10 incredible things you didn't know about Canada. Number 10 is Canada's size. From Pelly Island, Ontario, all the way up to Alert Nunavut, Canada is a massive country spanning nearly 9.99 million square kilometers and surrounded by 3 oceans, the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic. It's the largest country in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest country on Earth behind Russia. But these official figures only account for the land and freshwater areas of Canada. They don't include the seawater inside the country, between its lands, or ocean territory around it, which make up another 1.8 million square kilometers. Canada's 10 provinces are quite sizable too, with Quebec, the largest, being 2.7 times the size of the entire country of France, and over 6 times the size of the UK. And it's a good thing that Canadians and Americans get along so well, because we share the world's biggest undefended border, which spans 8,892 kilometers across. Canada's certainly a behemoth of a country. Number 9 are its natural wonders. When it comes to Mother Nature's dealings, I think it's fair to say Canada drew the best cards. It might shock you to learn that over 20% of the Earth's fresh water supply is in Canada, though that statistic becomes more understandable when you realize that there are nearly 2 million lakes in the country, and fresh water takes up around 9% of the colossal nation's total area. There are more natural lakes in Canada than in all the rest of the world combined. We're pretty lucky that our government recognizes the need to protect the natural beauty too. In fact, there are a number of national parks that are actually larger than several countries. Wood Buffalo National Park, which sits between Alberta and the Northwest Territories, is over 44,800 square kilometers, making it the second largest national park on the planet and bigger than all of the Netherlands or Switzerland. Number 8 is the food. When picturing the culinary delicacies of Canada, my guess is most of you think of maple syrup and poutine, and rightfully so. But what will probably surprise you is just how important Canada is to the world's access to food. Let's start with maple syrup. What would pancakes or waffles be without it? If you have a bottle of this delicious stickiness in your home, you likely have Canada to thank, as over 80% of the world's supply comes from there, with most of it being produced in the province of Quebec. Canada is also the world's biggest provider of lentils, with nearly 80% of the planet's green lentils grown in the cool climates and rich soils of Saskatchewan. With all of the incredible growing conditions in Canada, wheat has obviously become a huge export for the country, and has made the Great White North the 6th biggest supplier of wheat to the rest of the world. Number 7 are things that were invented in Canada. If any of you living outside the incredible place that is Canada think that Canucks are just a bunch of dumb lumberjacks, think again. Not only did Canada receive international recognition for having the 7th best education system in the world in December of 2016, but many of the things that you depend on every day were invented in the Great White North. For instance, would it surprise you to learn that peanut butter, egg cartons, and even Macintosh apples were first created in Canada? Stepping out of the kitchen, Canadians are also responsible for the odometer in your car, the ink used to make American paper money, paint rollers, walkie-talkies, and even IMAX movies. But if peanut butter and IMAX aren't world-changing enough for you, consider this. Canadians discovered insulin, which has saved millions upon millions of lives and are responsible for the creation of Standard Time. And that's only naming a few. Number 6 is Canada's population. Though it's the second largest country, Canada is home to less than 0.5% of the entire world's population, holding the title of the 8th least densely populated country on the planet, with only 10 people per square mile. There are over 36.6 million people living in the nation, but over 86% of them live in major cities in Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, and Alberta, according to the 2006 census. There are actually more people living in the state of California in the United States than there are in the entire country of Canada. But despite this, our population is still surging. From 1995 to 2015, Canada gained over 6.5 million people, with an increase in population of around 1% per year. However, research has shown that a huge portion of that increase is from immigrants coming into the country. If we stop letting people in, Canada's population would actually start decreasing rapidly. Number 5 is how Canada got its name. Though Canada is a proud and accomplished country, there's a bit of teasing that can be done at our expense. Not from constantly saying sorry or after everything, but from how the country got its name. It's been said that in 1535, when French explorer Jacques Cartier was navigating his second voyage to North America, in an attempt to find the Northwest Passage to China, he spoke with 2 young Iroquois men who called their village Canada. Canada is literally the St. Lawrence Iroquoian word for village or cluster of dwellings. However, Cartier mistook the word to mean the actual name of the native people's entire territory, and thus declared that he'd found an area called Canada. Though this legend has been debated by historians and pop culturalists, it's widely accepted that Canada is named after a word for village, which accurately makes it the biggest small town ever. Number 4 is the UFO landing pad. Canada is well known as a country that loves multiculturalism, with visitors being welcomed with open arms from almost anywhere, even outer space. Nestled comfortably between the city of Edmonton, Alberta, and the province of Saskatchewan's western border, the small town of St. Paul boasts one heck of an invitation to extraterrestrial visitors. 50 years ago, on June 3, 1967, 2 years before a man set foot on the moon, the people of St. Paul revealed their new tourism draw during Canada's centennial celebration, a 130-ton UFO landing pad, the first official one on Earth that encouraged aliens to make peaceful contact. The monument was built out of steel and cement and cost just over $11,000, all of which was donated by local businesses who also provided the labor to construct it. But come on, people of Earth, let's be completely honest. Which country would you like having represent your planet? Number 3 is the Apology Act. It's a well-documented fact known by pretty much everyone that Canadians seem to love saying sorry. Many believe it to be our favorite word and one in which we use a little too far often. So often, in fact, that the Canadian government actually passed a law protecting citizens from accidentally claiming responsibility for their actions, simply because they said it. Before the Apology Act was passed on April 23, 2009, simply saying you were sorry could be used by an opposing lawyer to prove that you claimed to be the guilty party in a given case. Think about it. Have you ever had someone bump into you and then you said sorry on reflex, even though it was their fault? This law says that just because you instinctively apologized doesn't mean you've admitted any fault. The word sorry, at least in Canada, now only represents sympathy. And if you don't like that for some reason, well, sorry. Number 2 is Santa Claus is Canadian. Okay, well, sort of. Santa's such a nice man, bringing presents and joy to children worldwide. So would it really come as a surprise to learn that the kind-hearted Santa Claus is actually a citizen of our other great white north? That's right, Kris Kringle is a Canuck. In an effort to encourage literacy in growing children, current and former Canada Post employees donate over 190,000 hours of their time each year, responding to around 1.5 million letters written to Santa from children around the world. The Postal Service uses the fictional postal code H0H0H0, or ho ho ho, to identify the letters, and a response is sent back in whatever language the initial letter was written in, including Braille. The Canadian government not only declared that Santa is a citizen, but on December 20th, 2013, they actually gave him a passport so that he can re-enter the country easier on Christmas morning. Trust me, nobody wants to have to go through customs after a trip like that. And number 1 is Canada is the best, almost. It won't come as a big surprise that a Canadian calls his home country the greatest country on the planet, but when several other countries and the UN back up that claim, well, let's just say that some jaws might drop a bit. Canada frequently finds itself at the top, or at very least close to it, in a number of surveys and studies, including one done at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, which showed that our home and native land is the second best country in the world, only a few points shy of the top spot. Switzerland. Canada has also been voted as the best travel destination by Lonely Planet, and I can't recommend enough that you visit it. We've been given the top spots in areas like the most polite country, best movie shooting locations, best air quality, funniest people, and frequently scores first place as the country with the highest quality of life. I gotta say, it's an amazing place. Though, of course, I might be a bit biased. And before you guys go, I'm proud to say this video was inspired by Canada's 150th birthday. And to celebrate, I'm working with TELUS's Million Hours movement. Together, we're trying to reach 1 million hours of service to Canadian communities as proud Canadians. It doesn't matter who you are, you can get involved for this great cause. So please take a minute to visit the link in the description or join the conversation on social media through the hashtag #MillionHours. Join me in this awesome cause. And that's it. Thank you guys as always for watching. If you feel like it, drop a like on this video, and on the right you'll find 2 of my most recent videos that you can press or click right now if you want to watch some more. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. Visit the link in the description, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!